Oh, yes. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place. Yharnam is the home of blood ministration. You need only unravel its mystery. But where's an outsider like yourself to begin? Easy, with a bit of Yharnam blood of your own. But first, you'll need a contract.
Alrighty then. How are we doing, friends? Well, I hope. Let's reposition this slightly. It's kind of awkward having chat over here, but I have no screen over here. I could probably fix that. I'll consider it later. Alright, what kind of pasta are we gonna have? So, we need a name, and we need to pick between violent past, cruel fate, or waste of skin. So mean. No, waste of skin is extra difficult because of the way I start the game, but don't let that influence your decision. Cruel fate is arcane and not terrible strength. Faced terrible hardships, but now confident in your purpose. So, because we're going high strength for Cannonball, we don't want much skill. That's a good name. And we don't want... Having no blood tinge makes the cannon slightly worse, but not really a noticeable amount. But we want some arcane because I believe, in my heart of hearts, that we're gonna want the invocation of Ebritas. Nothing quite like backhanding people with a bunch of tentacles. Am I right, gamers? I like Salty as the name. Let's go with that. It's a good name. Do we want to change our hair color? Face details, where the hair is. The face sort of... Never mind. Is it already there, or do we need more pepper? I wonder how I would even do that. I've never been very good at sliders, that's why I always use the same save model. Do you know what would be a good slider for pepper? I mean, the black and white color. Gray, I think is the word I'm looking for. I like that Bloodborne does what Dragon's Dogma does, in that all the hair models are available for either of the sixes. You do get weird looking ones like that though, but you know. God, it's in the rain. I think that's salt colored enough. It's like more of a pure salt than the traditional black and white, but glosses don't really look great in this, upsettingly. Steampunk. Ideally, I'd be doing this after at least one coffee, but let's just do our best and not worry too much. Pepper Salt, yeah. Sergeant Pepper Salt, Esquire. Dr. Sergeant Pepper Salt, Esquire.
Good. All signed and sealed. Now, let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad
So,
dream.
there's a lot of theories about what's going on here, but based on this scene, I think it works like dreams within dreams, right? Because the place you wake up in isn't all that different from the place you go to sleep in. Which leads me to believe the world is still bad, even if you're not dreaming Yarnum's dark dream. Yeah, like, even in real Silent Hill, things still fucked up, yo. There's still witches and what have you, right? And I kind of like that.
You found yourself a hunter.
I think it's kind of similar to Miyazaki's, like, see if I remember how to play this. Miyazaki's, like, understanding in Dark Souls 2, right? Like, how do you... Okay, that's trig. That's nothing. That's dodge. Sorry, I've been playing a game where strong attack is dodge, and it took me a long time to get used to that, so sorry, what I was saying was, in Dark Souls, when you go to Lordran, you're entering the realm of the gods. And the world's a lot closer to magic there. Like, you find magic fucking everywhere in that place. But the world you're coming from isn't one without magic. Right? Like, I can't think of any of the names, but like Katarina and like wherever also have magic. It's just that Lordran's all about that. Not like this. Fuck. Alright, because we died right away. I'm just gonna start again. Because I can do better than that. Yeah, so what I'm getting at is, like, you're not going from our mundane to the fantastic. You're going from slightly less fantastic to more fantastic. Which is the kind of magical realism that isn't really explored much in my traditional media, right? Like, there's a movie that's very New Zealand called The Price of Milk, and that explores magical realism in a very mundane situation. Which is very interesting because of that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that situation doesn't get, like, explored much in our films. Sorry. Let me just put a name back in. But it's always in contrast to... It's always in contrast to the mundane and, like, real life. But Miyazaki starts from a point of the fantastic and then runs with it, which I think is really interesting. Like, I think a lot of games don't try for that. They always assume a fantastic world and exist inside that and just that as a new reality. Like, Final Fantasy is a good example. It's like, yes, there is magic. Yes, there is swords and sorcery. This is all normal. Everyone agrees to that. Whereas Silent Hill is like, yeah, there's wizardly stuff going on, but don't tell anyone. Okay, like, shut up. And, yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting how different these creators can be while still making an extremely playable game. Right, you can target things. Cool, cool. Hey, we had an agreement, man. Go with the strong attack. No. Strong attack. There we go. See? Do. Didn't take any damage. No one saw that. Fine. Okay, so we don't actually hit very hard. But that still has me really curious, right? Like, what's the baseline in this place? Because we're not allowed to know that. We can gather, like, from... where's the best one? Yeah, so there's 2 bits of lore on these. There's the... Hood worn upon awakening to the nightmare of blood and beasts. Perhaps it's where I had to stay out of sight and travel by the cover of darkness. Without memory, who will ever know? And... Not typical clothing for Yharnam. Perhaps it's of foreign origin. It is said, after all, the traveler came to Yharnam from afar. Now, we're supposed to be the traveler, I'm guessing. And the sullied bandages. Terribly worn and unsanitary. Faint memory recalls blood ministration involving the transfusion of unknown blood. Not long after that, the nightmare began. So, like, we get a little bit of an understanding of what our character's deal is. Even though it's a blank slate for us, right? But there's clearly, like, a base world we come from, right? I think, though. Like, we come here and there's no law enforcement. That's better. See, I don't totally suck at this. So, like, I presume we come from a place that has, some establishments, right? Like, some sort of, like, medical or law enforcement scenario. So I just wonder, like, is there, like, does Miyazaki have an understanding of where where the character comes from as well? Like, is there more there? Like in Dark Souls again, there's definitely an understanding of like what Katarina is and what I'm just blanking, Astora is and all that stuff. Like, Astora is, from what we understand, the typical King Arthur knight's location. Whereas, like, King Arthur and Katarina is more like Morgan. Like, what Japanese understands. Ow, motherfucker. Like, evil Arthur to be. They do everything sort of the same, but also kind of bad. We're gonna be skipping a lot of enemies because we don't have a weapon. Come here a minute. So rusty. Yes and no. Like, there is definitely some of that. But that has to come from somewhere, right? Whoa, pitchfork. Whoa, guy with a cleaver. It's all to simmer down. I'll come back for you, item. I swear. Ruff, 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 ruff. It definitely went to the harder location first, but that's okay. Thunk. So yeah, I'm curious, like, what did Miyazaki envision his base world being here? Come on. I think that's the one we want to. Yeah, just covered in blood, right? I want you all to just chill out for a minute. And if we could all just agree to be cool for like 10 seconds, that would be great. That's not being cool. That's the opposite of being cool. This time, karate chop the chain. Don't miss. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, a hunter, are you? And an outsider? What a mess you've been caught up in. And tonight of all nights. Here, to welcome the new hunter. Prepare yourself. There are no humans left. They're all flesh-hungry beasts now. Still lingering about.
Yeah? What's on your mind?
A hunter unnerved by a few beasts. No matter. Without fear in our hearts, we're little different from the beasts themselves. What are you still doing here? Enough trembling in your boots. A hunter must hunt.
So, from what I understand, nice. What I understand is going on is that Yarnum sucks normally, but it's got a cyclical event, which is the Night of Beasts, where everything turns to super shit. But this is an extra bad one. And I think that's because you're here. I think you're the catalyst for it turning to, like, mega shit. Nope. 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 Fuck. Oh, damn. Alright. Our dream ends here. So, they don't, because it's a dream, right? I think we did pretty well for me not remembering how to play. I would have liked to have gotten to, Guy before coming to the dream, but that's okay. We can play easy mode for today. Are we going shotgun or are we going regular gun? So one theory I have on the Night of Beasts is that it exists as kind of a ritual and like a harvest for the pale blood entity that comes from the moon. Just go regular pistol. Hell, man. This is all we get told.
You must be the new hunter. Welcome to the hunter's dream. This will be your home for now. I am Gairman, friend to you hunters. You're sure to be in a fine haze about now, but don't think too hard about all of this. Just go out and kill a few beasts. It's for your own good. You know, it's just what hunters do. You'll get used to it.
I also like that the first NPC you meet and can talk to says, don't overanalyze things. You're thinking too hard about all this. There's a lot of fun stuff to think about, though. But yeah, because if you think about how... Do you remember the story in Demon Souls? Okay, so let's talk to our waifu and then we'll talk about that.
Are you out on the hunt? Then I'm very sorry, but I cannot open
No
this door.
weapon?
I am Yosefka. The patients here in my clinic must not be exposed to infection. I know that you hunt for us, for our town, but I'm sorry. Please. This is all that I can
These
do.
are clearly denim jeans, right? They look super
Now,
comfy.
go. And good hunting.
Like, these aren't like dress pants, these are punk jeans. Anyway, so Demon Souls is very explicit with their plot. It's in like the opening cutscene. So how Demon Souls do is there's this big colorless fog, they call it, and it's covering the northern kingdom of Boletaria. And you're like, oh, that sounds pretty bad. Then the game's like, you'll be famous if you go defeat it. Or maybe get immortality. Who knows? And your character's like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty good. Being immortal sounds sweet. Maybe I want to be famous. Who knows? But... Ow. But essentially, you decide to go to this terrible, awful place. As one does. While you're there, you learn that the colorless fog is because the king was using demon magic to make his kingdom prosperous. Usually a bad sign. That woke up the demon. What the demon wants is souls, because the demon's hangry. So the demon has a bunch of lieutenants set up to do the soul harvesting. And... Ow. The quest giver in that game essentially says, what we'll do is we'll kill all the lieutenants so the demon needs a new one. Sorry, we'll kill all the lieutenants so the demon decides it needs a new one. You'll be that new demon. Oh, sure. Oh, Miyazaki especially. I don't know about non-Miyazaki games. So I am going somewhere with this. I'm just trying to remember the plot of Demon Souls at the same time. Fucking shield bash me. That is not cool. Getting really unlucky with drops here. Where was I? Right. So the goal, the plan is to basically get you a job interview to become the new Demon King. Well, Demon, like, general for this monstrosity. And the choice ends up being, do you take power or do you do the right thing? Fuck. Serious? Oh man, right in the back. Is sometimes power is the right thing, and that's like the question that they're asking, because the answer isn't easy. But what I'm saying is, there's a world, there's a demon, there are lieutenants getting power for the big demon. I think Bloodborne is the same story, because Miyazaki tells that story more and more ambiguously each game he makes. I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. Like, there's definitely something to be said about refining your story. Like, he wants to tell a particular fairy tale, right? And he wants to tell it better and better. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm thinking maybe that will give us some insight into where Bloodborne's coming from. Because maybe it's the same deal. Maybe the people that you have my souls, don't you, you dick? I'm really bad at parrying these guys. There we go. Well, more that, like, maybe Pale Blood, or the Pale Moon entity, whatever it's called, is using, like, ROM and all these other entities to steal, souls, or in this case, what the game tells you is also red, white, is blood echoes. But what blood echoes really mean is like human essence, right? Or could be understood to be as human essence. Typically used as demon food. There's a subplot going on in this game, though, with the abuse of Yana, which I haven't really thought too much about in the same level of detail. But I still think there's a lot to be said about stealing our understanding of Miyazaki's other games to get where he's coming from with Bloodborne. I think there's potential there. Ow! Not to stab people, man. It's not cool. Why will none of you drop the sweet blood echoes I need? There we go. That's the stuff. Okay, just the dog. But like one thing that's consistent that I really enjoyed about this, and in spite of its flaws, even Dark Souls 2, but to a lesser extent, I feel. So like, at its core, it's still super fun to play, even if you never consider the why of it. Pitchfork, pitchfork, ow, ow, ow. So rusty with my time. Oh no, he doesn't want to make the same game again and again. Like, sorry, that is what I was getting at before I got fucking pitchforked. So, he definitely doesn't want to make the same game over and over again, which is why he didn't want to make Dark Souls 2, and why he reluctantly finished Dark Souls 3. But, I think to Miyazaki, now I don't know him personally, like some people, but I think he thinks games and stories are different things. Like this insane... I have one of these. This insane, like, premise of the rich killing the strong for, like, an unsustainable system, like an unsustainable economy. And the old nobility being noble instead of gross is just kind of the extra, like, platform to make these games on. No, different Miyazaki. That would be great though. Right? Could you imagine? Pasta. What am I gonna have for food today? Alright. I never finished what I was doing before. Alright, so, fun thing about this game. Dogs are super weak to blood for some reason. Don't know why, but it's the only thing that makes them even marginally manageable. I think Totoro would be the end boss in any Miyazaki Ghibli game. There is a dog left. Yeah, for some reason dogs have like a massive knockback when you shoot them. Slicing Totoro into 2 pieces. This is my last resort. What a good vista. I love this sunset shot. All the townspeople milling around this burning effigy. So back to pasta. I've been eating a lot of rice for the last week and a half. And I'm wondering if I mix it up or not. I've gotten pretty good at making rice, but I think my body hasn't had vegetables in like months, so that's good too. I need you to play the same game I'm playing, Beastman. Oh, that's what I've been doing. I've been having vegetables, but it's been a while since I did that. The timing on the spear guy's attack is really weird. When the parry happens. Hey, Spike. What kind of pasta are you doing? Guessing it's some kind of fish abomination. Yep, thought so. Giant rat doo 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 doo. Giant rat with oddly human-shaped hands doo 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 doo. Bye. Oxar. So, yeah, Spike, I think it's an interesting, like, discussion about what is and isn't the same game, right? And I think Miyazaki doesn't consider story to be part of a game. Like, it's something that is included in games, but I don't think he considers it to be the meat bones of the thing. But I was also thinking, oh man, I pissed them all off, didn't I? I was also thinking about, like, rock. Specifically Nobuo's rock. And how he makes similar songs a lot. But it's all good, right? It's all very thoughtful, and there's all a lot that goes into it. And I'm wondering if it's a similar sort of thing, like, there's this underlying rhythm that that these people are adhering to, that they can see, and they're trying to put into reality. Where did that guy land? There he is. I see you, fucker. Knocked him through the planet. Well, I think that's a bit different. No, actually, maybe not. But I don't think the story there is what they were going for. I think there's definitely a fairy tale here. In a very, like, deliberate way. But, like, the idea of, like, the idea of the thing that lives inside the marble, right? Like, there's a statue in the block of marble, and it's your job as a sculptor to get it out. Except, ow, bird. Except in this case, the block of marble is the mind. Like, there's a song that Nobuo hears for him. And he's doing his best to make that song real. And the byproduct of that is tons of good music. And I'm wondering if it's a similar sort of thing with Miyazaki's story. Is an iteration that he hears. That he's trying to express, and the byproduct is tons of good games. Again, I don't know any of these people, and I've never talked to them, and I can't speak Japanese, so I don't know this stuff. It's just assumption at this point.
From the hunt, and she went to find him, and now she's gone too. I'm all alone. I'm scared.
Hey, then again, I love lying to this little girl. Then again, it was the same director who did all those Final Fantasies, right?
It plays when one day he forgets us. We play it for him so he remembers. Not so silly.
Your mother is dead. A lot like your gods, your mother is dead. Yeah, maybe that weird crystal story is his white whale. Maybe like the perfect iteration of One Wing Angel or whatever is Nobuo's white whale, not One Wing Angel. There's like a particular melody I'm thinking of that is in like 99% of Nobuo's stuff. And maybe this like absurd fairy tale of power transferal is Miyazaki's. And just each attempt is a new angle, you know, to try to eke out just the right one. The fuck was that? My cat did not like the sound of that. I might go to the dream and go see what that was. I'm also a firm believer of death of the author, though. But that kind of plays into this sitch.
Gilbert, a fellow outsider. You must have had a fine time of it. Yarnum has a special way of treating guests. Well, I don't think I could stand if I wanted to, but I'm willing to help if there's anything that can be done. This town is cursed. Whatever your reasons might be, you should plan a swift exit. Whatever can be gained from this place, it will do more harm than good.
So, fun thing about Gilbert. He's another outsider, like you. And at this point, people are like, okay, tell me what's going on. But your character knows what's going on. So they're not going to ask the question.
Pale blood, you say?
They're going to ask a different question.
Never heard of it. But if it's blood you're interested in, you should try the Healing Church. The church controls all knowledge on blood ministration and all varieties of blood. Across the valley to the east of Yarnum lies the town of the Healing Church, known as the Cathedral Ward. And deep within Cathedral Ward is the old
I would have made this guy
cathedral.
aggressively Irish, I think.
Special blood, or so they say. Yarnumites don't share much with outsiders. Normally they wouldn't let you near the place, but the hunt is on tonight. This might be your chance. Across the valley.
Okay, I'll be right back. Just making sure the cats are okay. So... I like the way they've giving you this like blank slate character in Bloodborne as well. But not really. Like, no matter what you decide, the directors decided that your character has a bunch of knowledge you don't, and they're not going to ask the easy questions for you.
You're safe. Thank goodness. But I'm afraid nothing will change. I cannot open the door. I'll do what I can, of course. Perhaps this will help you, if only in some small way. Now go. I pray for your safety.
Oh yeah. Like, you decide what happens, but who your character is. Like, it's not a blank slate that you get to choose, right? Like, it's a visual novel or, like, Dark Souls, right? Yeah. I didn't play Fallout 4, but I saw a lot of like what was going on there. The character definitely has like a plan. The person I watched doing that playthrough made their what do they call them in that one? Survivor? Made their survivor like super old. So them looking for baby is really weird. I also like the evil London, which this place sort of is populated by like this high society looking place is populated by all these hicks. Yeah, I think the courier is like the best iteration of the Fallout survivors. Like, personally speaking. Like 1 and 2 come with a lot of baggage on it. Three sucks. Like, I think 3 is like one of those games that yeah, you've got like the quest, right? But other than that, it's your character. But I don't mind that in this because I think it's a subversion. Whereas, I think in Fallout it's more of an expectation. Like, this character, like Dark Souls and stuff, is presented as a blank slate character. So it's frustrating when they don't do blank slate things. Sorry, old lady, I have no time for you. Okay, back to here. I do like that hunters, so from my understanding, hunters are either an in-world thing or an out-world thing. Like, you're an outsider. Fuck. You're an outsider who's come to Yharnam for a goal, and to achieve that goal, you take this up as your, like, for want of a better term, profession. But you have no... Sorry, monster. You have no training or anything, right? You're not a religious zealot or whatever. You're someone who's turned up. Like an intern, right? You've just turned up for this job. And just through the act of being in this place and doing these things, you learn how you're expected to be a hunter. Like the expectation and like the understanding of what being a hunter is kind of expected upon you. Which I think is pretty interesting. Like turning up to a job and just being told to get to work. And you're like, but what do I do? And they're like, just do what everyone else is doing. It's like, oh, okay, I guess. Shrug emoji. I think that's a fairly atypical hunter in this setting, Spike. There's a whole Reddit community dedicated to that, though. They have a uniform. The typical hunter in this is not depicted as an academic. The typical hunter in this is depicted as like a kind of wandering night murderer. Like they exist to hunt monsters like Van Helsing's, right? They exist in this kind of like outside the law. Ow! Climbing a ladder, dude, so rude. Partly, but also from being told to do so by German. Like, that's more or less explicitly what he tells you to do. Without even paraphrasing, just go kill some beasts. It's what hunters do. Don't think too hard about all this. Whereas you can definitely take the scholar route, and I think you'd be justified in doing so. But I do think it's interesting to think about expectation and what that teaches the player character. Like, I personally like the scholars and the excavators, right? The Indiana Jones characters in this game, essentially, right? You're kicking down Garnham's door saying, "It belongs in a museum," and she's like, "What are you doing at my house?" Don't know why Yharnam sounds like that in my head now, but guess that's happening. She's a wizard. But how? Oh, rats. But you the hunters in like the old ways are like definitely of that scholar religious schism, but modern hunters are definitely more like mercenary knights, I think it's how the game's trying to, like, mother rat Christ. I think it's how the game's trying to put them out. Speaking of rat Christ. music box, music box. Oh, I think I fucked that up. I may die here. Oh, no, we're good, we're good. Lovingly rendered piggins. No, I don't think they did. I think the way it happened was they discovered Eldritch tombs. Sorry, the church discovered Eldritch tombs that had literal actual healing magic in it. And they were like, whoa, it's like our gods are real all of a sudden. We can probably do something with this. Blood Church happens. Then the monsters start happening. Then at that point, I think the like philosophy arm of the church decided to start a school. Then I think the defense happened. I think the kind of concept of hunter happened more or less at the same time for both factions. Like, I think, crap, what's the school name again? Oh, I'm blanking on this one. Bergenworth. I think Bergenworth hunters and church hunters happened kind of simultaneously, except the scholar hunters from Bergenworth were more tomb raiders than they were defenders. But they're like, the concept of being a hunter wasn't really shared by both until later on. That was unexpected. And then, yeah, through like time and regret, there was this homogenizing of the meaning of what it is to be a hunter. Yeah, see you later for sure, my dude. Alright, I already killed you. Do we want to go kill Screamy McScreamerson or Strong Arm McGuy first? This way to go about that. This way. The sad thing is I'm better at the geography in Bloodborne than I am in my own hometown. I'm still not very good at the geography in Yharnam, but Fuck. The hitbox on these thrown weapons on this thing's face is so frustrating. Like that just sailed through it. Twice. Ow, ow. Dodged the wrong way. Optional boss defeated. So. Righteous or serrated weapons. I still like that those are the two subtypes in the game. Well, Ludwig's Holy Blade is definitely not serrated. Hey, me too.
Here in this dream to look after you. Honorable hunter, pursue the echoes of blood, and I will channel them into your strength. You will hunt beasts, and I
So,
will be here for you to embolden your
she's in this
spirit.
game, the voice actress. Voice actor. But not in Dark Souls 2. People were like, why is she here? It's like, 'cause Miyazaki called dibs. Like, he obviously likes this voice.
Very let me stand close. And I
If I
shall
go really
rise.
gig, we essentially have to wait until the arse end of the game before we get it. Oh my god, seriously? Fuck off. And our strength is bad. Oh, go like this until we have 20 endurance.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
So, yeah, I don't know, Spike. I don't actually remember where we get the scourge from either. It's been a while. I remember I liked the sword a lot better than the wheel. The wheel is very The wheel is very memey, but not actually like super good. Like if you want to use its full potential, I mean.
You're safe. Thank goodness. But I'm afraid nothing will change. I'll do it. Perhaps. Now, I pray. Are you still in need of... But I have nothing. Please. I can only pray.
Let's. I almost don't like how hidden these extra dialogues are with Yosefka. You know what I mean? Oh, Ludwig's Holy Blade is from the Cathedral Ward thing.
You are safe. Thank goodness. But I'm afraid nothing will... I'll do it. Perhaps... This night is long, but morning always comes. Someone of your caliber won't fail us. I am certain. And once the night of the hunt ends, we can speak face to face. Then I can finally see what you look like. I shouldn't be thinking this, but I am rather looking forward to it. So please, be careful out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry you die.
I'm sorry.
Where do we want to go? What's the plan? That apparently. Wow, wow. Definitely can't fault the lighting in this game. Oh, lucky. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess we can go get murdered by Guyenstein, huh? This initial part of Bloodborne I really love. Just like unlocking all these early shortcuts and just tooling around here. It's got such a good Underberg feel to it. So like I was big into the camp of like, yeah, shortcuts. And like Dark Souls and Bloodborne do them so well. What? I can't make the person go away. They're doing stuff. I do have a tendency when I play games to... I'm gonna use the term aggressive here. I aggressively lean towards magical realism. Right, like I will almost always take magic existing in a non-skeptical, this is true way. Like in Valkyrie Chronicles, for example. Chronicles? Just they were like, yeah, it's magic. I'm just like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like the magic radiators and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's a giant infinite power supply. It makes sense that it would be so volatile. So I was either biased to like accept Bloodborne as, yeah, it's just how this world is. But if you do that, there's definitely a reading for it, because I've tried very hard to make there a reading for it. But when you do it that way, you have to mentally edit out all the random light posts that are just in weird places, and like the water pumps that exist in places that make no sense. And all the, you know, the crying statues that exist just around. Which doesn't really pan out. Like, there's no reason for this lamppost to be here, right? And like, no city would commission these statues to be like just around. Seriously, no item drops from any of you? Jeez. Also, like, yeah, the coffins in the streets and stuff. Stuff like that. Oh, the thing that really gets me are these fucking fences that are everywhere. That make no sense whatsoever. Where? Oh shit. Where is that? Is that Parl's house? No, surely not. Oh no, it's some dank river. Okay. How do you mean, Spike? After this boss, I also need to be right back. I need to drain my cold brew. What? Phase through that dude. Yeah, sorry, I'm not real. You have to interact with me via the text interface. Oh, I just read your sentence as correct before you corrected it. Oh. Alright. Yeah. I think Dark Souls does that very well. Like, Dark Souls is magical realism faux show.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
You need to shave. Why don't you have any mustache? That's fucking weird.
What's that smell? The sweet blood. Oh, it sings to me. It's enough to make a man sick.
Bully, 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 bully. Get. So... yes. Like, you can't just say magic is real and be done with it. You have to, like you said, show, not tell, why it works. And I think that Dark Souls does that where Bloodborne doesn't, and I think Bloodborne does it that way because I have to admit that it is a dream and a dream and a dream and a dream and a dream. It's insanity. But just pipe. The fuck, man. Anyway. Like, when you start looking for the weird inconsistencies in Bloodborne, they yell at you. And I think that exists that way intentionally. Yeah, it's fantasy tragedy, but, like, magical realism is still just an element of genre there. You can definitely have fantasy without magic. And eternal life. Yeah, but I don't think it's as intentional as, as obvious. But that also might just be because I'm colossally biased towards realism. Because all this, like, irreality is sort of realistic to me.
Oh, you must be a hunter. Very sorry. The incense must have masked your scent. Good, good. I've been waiting for one of your ilk. These hunts have everyone all locked up inside, waiting for it to end. It always does. Always has, you know, since forever. But it won't end nicely. Not this time. Even some folks hiding inside are going bad. Screams of women folk.
I love how they spelled women folk.
The snarls of beasts. None of them's too uncommon now. Yarnum's done for, tell ya. But if you spot anyone with their wits about them, tell them about this here Erden Chapel. They'll be safe here. The incense wards off the beasts. Spread the word. Tell them to come on over. If you wouldn't mind.
Well, this game's hickey and neat. So I'm gonna be right back. I need to not let this overbrew. I'll be like a couple meters left. Okay. So how much longer do we want to play for today? Do we want to go for another half hour or another 5 minutes? Oh, my hands smell like coffee. So good. So good. Let's round off the next little bit, and then we'll call it quits. I think the cathedral is a pretty good place to start, if we want to continue doing this. I like that my cats have lunch together. What was that noise? I should stop really shooting everything. Fishing for parries isn't gonna really work when I'm using the cannon. Run! A bit late at the start today. I had to, well, had to, it's not really the right word. I was talking to my partner who is in London right now. Also, this fucking door. This door. Like... think about how important this door is for the game's, like... routes. It doesn't look like a real door. Like, we can probably run around and find a door that looks exactly like it that goes fucking nowhere. There's one. Nothing special about that door. This fucking door, though. You don't meet Evil Solaire. You'd miss the, like, non-10,000 rupees route.
Hunter, aren't you? I knew it. That's precisely how I started out.
Back when I was a child.
You may call me
Evil.
Protege of Master Ligurius, hunter of vile bloods.
Sorry.
So,
you're a hunter, aren't you? Better fucking hope so. Covered in blood.
Hunters, the both of us. Why not cooperate and discuss
God, those are some intense sideburns, Alfred. Did you need, like, plastic surgery for the damage?
Oh, very good. Very good indeed. Take this to celebrate our acquaintance. Beast hunting is a sacred practice. May the good blood
I like that they
guide
talk
your
about
way.
it like it's something like Boy Scouts, right? Oh, beast hunting. I remember when I was a child. Also, Tuxedo Mask. Oh, wrong way. But yeah. Like, not knowing about, like, this place changes, like, the choices available to you drastically. Because that door is inconspicuous. Should really put some gems in my weapons. The, like, one big disappointment I have about Bloodborne is the... gem system. I don't know what they call it in this. Blood gems, maybe? Bloodstones? Bloods? No, they call it gemstones. The gemstones in this game is like the most Diablo-y element to it, and it's why I never finished playing Neo. I hate that whole, like, we'll add an endgame thing for infinite replayability. We'll make it RNG based. In this sort of game, feels terrible. In Diablo, great. Love loot casinos. It's good times. But in this, like, no, it's an ARPG. It should reward you for skill and progression, not grinding out gacha shit. Like, I'm not against having to grind out tons of dumb bullshit. I maybe should be against that, but I'm not. Don't mind it so much, as long as it doesn't cost me all my money. But in this, like, no, like, it's the wrong... It's the wrong meat grinder, I feel. But yeah, anyway, thanks very much for letting me wax philosophical on you about my suspicions about the underlying overture of the world and the Miyazaki problem. And just stuff in general. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this game. Playing this feels like coming home. Which might say a few things about me as a person. Let's not dwell on that too much, eh? But yeah, I'll see you later. You have a good sleep, and we'll probably play more of this. Just, I don't really feel like starting a new game right now. And this is really fun, so... Anyway, peace.